All right, welcome back to Alea Jacta Est. This is tutorial 24, and in today's tutorial, we're going to take a look at something called cohesion, and let's take a look at it in some detail. A lot of times, newer players kind of ask, well, this is kind of a common question. It's like, well, I had a bunch of men, but they didn't fight at all, or they fought very poorly. And a lot of times the reason is because, or they're moving very slowly, and a lot of times the reason is because the troops have poor cohesion or low cohesion. Perhaps it's a better way of saying it. Yeah, so if you remember last time in the previous tutorial, we completed our amphibious assault, and we have now taken the town of Rusacade. Don't know how to say it, apologize for that. Okay, so let's just kind of like think about sort of from a logical perspective of what's happening with the transportation of our army and then the subsequent battle. So they, of course, were transported on transport ships and across the Mediterranean. At which point they then proceeded to form land, essentially, and then storm the town, which was a very small one, size one fort. In other words, doesn't really provide much protection for the town there. And they easily took it, and we actually captured a supply wagon, which they call in impedimenta, and there's the African supply train. And you can kind of tell it's a captured unit because it's the right color. You see that it's the color of the Numidian forces here. Okay, so let's kind of think about what's happening. So as they're being transported across, that's going to logically be tiresome for them, as well as landing and then fighting. And the game, a good game represents more than just, okay, the number of troops and the quality of troops, and as well as, of course, the type of troops they are, different abilities and different different strengths, different talents. But you need a game that does more than that. And what I mean by that is, as troops are being transported, as they're engaging in action, or as they're in bad weather and so forth, really their cohesion is going to reduce. So you take a look at something here called average cohesion. It says 69 to 86. So, and this one's slightly lower, 66 to 86. This one is even lower than that, 78. So our cohesion is not at maximum. Okay, so what is cohesion? Essentially, what cohesion represents is how rested they are, their ability to fight at full strength. Okay, so someone that's tired is not going to fight as effectively as someone that is rested, or someone who is sick is not going to fight as effectively as someone who is rested. Someone who is starving is not going to fight as effective as someone who is fed. And I said sick, I meant to say well, i.e. not sick. Now, so the game represents this changing cohesion as certain actions are performed and as they're engaged in certain activities. So you can see we've taken it, and what am I going to do here? I'm going to say, oh, well, their cohesion's dropped, and now I'm just going to hold them for a turn. And this is where things can get tricky. It's like, well, it's really tempting to just kind of go out into the next town. There is a pumping force here. It's 5 units, as well as it's a size 2 fort, which means that we actually would have to besiege this town to go down. And you remember that is an objective city, so it's going to be kind of a big deal. And of course, we know it's an objective city because it's blinking or pulsating, if you will. Okay, so let's say we're going to rest these troops this turn. And the way to do that is really just to, in our situation, we're just going to put them on defensive posture, blue and then orange, defend and normal level. You can actually rest them more by green, but we don't want to do that because we don't want them on passive, because actually I don't want our forces to retreat. Remember, this is the only place that we control here in Numidia, so we don't want to lose that. And in some ways, we're actually sort of surrounded. We have 4 units of equities here on our left flank, depending on which way you look at it. On our right flank, the equities here, as well as some sort of force, equities, a garrison, and a Pompeian force there in the objective city of Cirta. Yeah, so what we want to do is we want to rest them, and we do that by just putting them on defensive posture, and then they're going to regain their cohesion as the subsequent month is happening. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. It is a question a lot of new people ask, is like, okay, and usually the question, like I said, it's not actually about cohesion, it's about why their troops perform so poorly or they're moving so slowly, and a lot of times that has to do with cohesion. So in our situation, it makes sense to arrest them, and their cohesion wasn't super low, but I feel what I'm more interested in is going for Cirta and not these towns with the equities on our left and right flank, and I want them to be in a really good, rested, cohesive unit as they do that. This is the second battle with this fleet, and the Pompeian fleet has just been, well, it's gone at that point down there. So I've had a lot of success on the waters. And this is interesting. Yeah, so they're doing an invasion of Sicilia, and we'll see. I purposely left a legion plus support down there this time. Oh, and they're attacking with a huge force. Let's see if we can hold. Looks like we will, but barely. You'll notice that their elephants, heavy cavalry is gone. They were destroyed. We did lose. We lost our legionary marines. That's too bad, and one of our equities. But it may have been pushed out. Another victory on the sea, and we're gone. We've now. Well, yeah. So we won the battle, but it seems we then subsequently retreated. So that's interesting. Perhaps, yeah, the campaigns decided to stay around, and we said, okay, well, enough of that. Yeah. So that was a large. That was a large battle. Let's take a look at our force now, and cohesion 84, cohesion 81. So cohesion is back up to nearly maximum, but the problem we have now is, comparing the element panel, a lot of red. In other words, we've taken a lot of actual man losses, not cohesive losses. Yeah, okay, well, I think that's going to be it for today's tutorial, so hopefully that's going to be useful for you out there, and a little Caesar's forces here. We'll try to start moving south next. I do want to let's take a look and see what happened here. The Pompeian force has moved into just west of Syracuse here. So yeah, now done with an invasion there. Anything happen out west? I tried to attack them. No, I can't. Pompeian forces are kind of elusive out here. I can't actually bring them to battle. All right, see you next time.